Good evening. I'd like to call this special board meeting of Monday, January 16th, 2023 to order. It's with great respect and humility that we acknowledge and honor the land of the Snuneymuxw people. The Snuneymuxw people maintain their profound, unique, and spiritual connections to the land through traditions, teachings, stewardship, and expressions of reciprocity. Do we have any additions, deletions, or changes in order to the agenda this evening? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by Trustee Robinson.
Seconded.
Seconded by Trustee Rokeby. Anyone opposed to adoption of the agenda? Seeing none, carries. Moving on to new business, item 6.1. Secretary Treasurer Walsh, the amendment to minor capital plan.
Thank you, Chair, and Mr. Sabo is here as well this evening. So we have a good news item, and apologies for the timing of the meeting. We only found out about the availability of the funds, I think, last Wednesday, and so we need to have this motion done by the 18th. And so what we have is the recommended motion you'll see is to amend the proposed 5-year capital plan for the minor capital side of the programs for 2022-23. And so just as background, every June-ish, the board puts in a capital plan request for essentially the following school year. I should say the school year following that, in fact. So the ministry is able to review, and then in the spring of the following year, they give us a response letter to say, yes, we're giving you, hopefully this year would be ND, they're going to say yes to, and then, in the major capital side, and then the minor capital side, they have a variety of programs that they fund us out of. One of them is the carbon neutral capital program. So we apply for projects, electrification of boilers, various things like that. In this particular case this evening, e-bus charging infrastructure that will support decarbonization of the district. And so what's happened, though, is it looks like the ministry has got a little bit more money for this particular program since the board submitted their letter and since the initial response was provided to us. And so what the motion tonight is to amend essentially that response that they gave us to add $70,000 for e-bus charging infrastructure. So what that is us getting $75,000 or $70,000, $71,000 from the ministry to support that charging infrastructure. And as the board will recall, we have electrification of our bus fleet as a goal in both the long-range facilities plan as well as our environmental plan. And so we're 33% of the way there, and we'll continue to apply for more buses. And of course, to do that, we need to have electric charging infrastructure. Initially, we were going to fund some of that from local capital, and that $70,000 will now be able to reallocate it in the local capital fund. Likely to portable moves this year. So good news there, and the government's supporting electrification as a priority. So recommended motion is there, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Before we entertain the motion, is there any questions? Seeing none. Oh, I see Trustee Robinson typing there. Would you like to just come online, Mark? That's easier. It's up to you.
Sure, no, I was going to make the motion if no one was going to.
Please do.
Okay. Should I read the whole thing?
Yes, please.
Chair? Okay. I move that the Board of Education of School District number 68 in Nanaimo Ladysmith, in accordance with provisions under section 142(4) of the School Act, hereby approves the amended proposed 5-year capital plan, minor capital programs for 2022-2023 as provided on the 5-year capital plan summary for the 2022-2023 submitted to the Ministry of Education and Childcare.
Thank you, Trustee Robinson, and that's been seconded by Trustee Brzovic. I'll come back to you, Mark. Would you like to motivate the motion?
Not much to motivate. I think it speaks for itself, Chair. I think our Mr. Walsh did an excellent job of introducing the content of it, and I support it. It's timely, and it needs to be passed, I think, in my opinion. So hence the motion. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Robinson. Are there any other comments in relation to the motion? I guess I'll close out and just say that I strongly support the motion. I think it's great when the province comes forward with more capital funding to support the board's goals. So I think this is fantastic. Okay, so I don't see any other comments or suggestions on the motion. I will call the question. Is there anyone opposed to the motion? And if you are, type in the chat, please. Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Secretary Treasurer Mark Walsh, for your report this evening and staff who assist along the way. And that brings us to the last item of our agenda on this very quick meeting this evening, item 7, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Moved by Trustee Robinson and seconded by Trustee Lee. Anyone opposed to adjournment? Seeing none, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Great meeting, Greg. Great meeting. Solid start to finish.